Greetings and salutations, internet. Forgive like the yelling and chants you might hear in the background. Someone you can hear on a bullhorn if you listen closely. Um, they're talking to protesters. It's another Palestine rally. People who are against genocide. They're crazy because they had nothing good to say about Kamala Harris. Nothing. I guess just like they want Trump to win. And it's just like, if we don't vote for Kamala, it's going to be Trump. I know what you guys are saying. Yeah, Trump is horrible. I would never vote for Trump. But he was better than the Democrats. He's better than Joe Biden. Uh, well, I mean, for me, it's, like I said, in reality, I would never vote for either. I voted for the Democrats one time. I hit you with a little deadpan in the beginning. But yeah, Barack tricked me in 2008 when I thought they were going to give us free health care, something like they got in every other civilized country. All the European countries, they could afford it because we're their war bitch. We're like Joe Pesci and all of the gangster movies where he's just like the bulldog. Was it Casino? He did, he was just like, he would snap and, just do the bidding. Was that the one when he got beat to death with a bat? I don't know, but it's just like the one who's just quick to turn to violence, and the violence always benefits a certain group of people. Like Vietnam, it was benefiting the French. Um, Iraq, that was the British folks' war. They went into Iraq back in 1920, almost 100 years before Iraq 2.0. Well, Iraq 2.0 was still going on um, um, with the British. On the 100-year anniversary of the British Iraq War. But it's just like, yeah, Israel, another settler colonial state. And it's like, we love these motherfuckers. You know why? Because they got our story. They got this exact same story of America. It's just like white people who are religiously persecuted by other white people seek retribution by stealing brown people's land. And then it's just like, if you say anything, I'm pretty sure those pilgrims, as they were massacring native babies and slaughtering, what was it, General Custard, he used to like cutting the bellies open of pregnant women and like stomping them out. Dude, sick as shit, still celebrated by a certain select group of people. And it's just like, yeah, and I'm sure when he was cutting open those babies, the people who detested him and who came for him, during his last stand, he blamed their violence on his Christianity. It's like, y'all hate me because I'm Christian. No, you're sick. Well, and how that ties in with Republicrats, there's no difference when it comes to this particular issue. Yeah, you can say Trump is better on the Ukraine war because he's a Putin puppet. I mean, or maybe he just, his most recent assassination attempt was one of those Ukraine war loving Nazis. It's just, so like I said, I'm no fan of the Democrats or Trump. But like I said, if those are my only two options, I choose revolution. But the last person who I voted for the presidential election was Jill Stein. Couldn't vote for Howie Hawking or whatever the fuck. He was nothing. He was like, I feel like the Greens got co-opted because they were gaining energy. So they're like, we got to stifle that. And but now Jill Stein's back. It was supposed to be Bobby Kennedy or Cornel West was talking about running. as a green, then he fell out of favor with them for whatever reason. But the goal is anybody but these war criminals. So it's just like the Jill Stein. She's like not only she's the last person I voted for, but she's also the next person I'm voting for. It's all kinds of initiatives that we should be focusing on. I mean, and it gets confusing because corporations are funding some of these initiatives that look grassroots, but they benefit them. So, I mean, it's tricky business. But yeah, I was just talking to one of the organizers. He's connected with Shama Sawant. One of the amazing people I was excited to be able to meet. One of the reasons I stayed where I'm at right now was like I'm like I gotta meet her. I gotta pick her brain. Was able to meet her several times. I even went to her party celebrating 10 years in office, and it was her last term. So now she's out of city council, and there's no fighters for the people. So right now they're rallying people. So we got nobody in office. So like I said, we never had good presidents. We never had good public officials. We had good movements. I mean, you could argue Shama Sawant is a good public official, but we still need movements to hold whoever gets in office accountable. No matter who we put in there, I mean, there will be pressure for them to corrupt. Maybe it'll be, it's a carrot and stick approach. It's like carrot is a bunch of money. Stick is, killing your whole family, torture, smearing your name. So as you get tortured and killed, like Julian Assange, the news has nothing but bad things. They accuse you of being a rapist. They accuse you of the worst shit. Meanwhile, they're actually funded by rapists. Shout out to Diddy. Go get your baby oil. Baby oil up them elbows. But yeah, and Epstein's and all that shit. But yeah, it's just it's good to see people out protesting, even though it is distracting. But it's motivational, and I'm gonna give you guys a little sense of what's going on. So this is gonna be Rumble exclusive. I'm gonna go to the window, let you guys get a sense of what I had to come across, and it was just so random, but it was so beautiful. One second. How do I flip the camera? Okay, I'll just flip the phone. See all that? Now we got like Lebanese protesters. We got people who've been with Palestine, rocking with Palestine. I mean, if you're a Christian, you pretty much gotta be Palestine. That's the land of Jesus. Back before it was Palestine, when it was. Whew, sorry about that. But yeah, Christians, you're like obligated to be on the side of Palestine because it was the land of Jesus back when it was. I mean, the character that Jesus was based off of back when it was a part of Kemet. Of course, all that shit got busted up. They bust up. You look at all the areas we got to go to war with. It's all of the places with ancient civilizations older than anything in the West, right? So Egypt, huge problem. You got China, another big problem. You got Iraq, another big problem. Because all of this shit, these ancient lands, they have a history longer than anything in Europe, right? And then what ends up happening is like that's why they call the rise of the West the end of history. Because once they colonize a place, they take away all that shit because these people have to come from nothing. They have to be a bunch of desert Jesuits or whatever. They can't They can't have any culture. They have to be saved by these Europeans, even though their lands are being colonized by weapons that were made by other colored people. Like right now, China gave the West the technology to colonize these other lands, and they're talking about going to war with China, even though they got more people, they're more advanced than anything we can imagine. Because like if you notice, like Western civilizations, going back to Rome, they got all these secrets from Egypt. Egypt had all these networks of ancient civilization secrets, and each generation gets worse and worse at recreating what other generations could do with ease. So pyramids got shittier. All structures got shittier, and it's just like the people, they just, they gave them bread and circuses. They got stupid. They got fat. They got lazy. But then they got into line. Like they didn't revolt very often, until they did. And revolutions are always impossible until they happen. Then they become inevitable. So it's just right now it's inevitable to happen. Um, Everyone is catching on, so it's it's time we do something instead of getting out there. If you got anybody in your family, like my family, who's talking about fucking having phone banks for Kamala Harris. Kamala, like phone banking, taking time out of your day to phone bank for free as they steal billions of dollars from us through these corporations. It's like it's just a big network of corruption. They steal all that money, then they still blow my phone up asking for more money for my personal stash. The shit that I can say, you know what, I'm not going to give that to the FBI or the tax man to give to these criminals. Yeah, so yeah, it's just just if you got anybody in your family who's willing to do that shit, just say, like, set them straight. Like, we don't need another criminal in office. We need a revolution. This federal government is wholly illegitimate. The Democrats cared about democracy. We would have had to say, we wouldn't have got the most unpopular candidate from 2020 running for office right now. And then shaming people for not voting for her because she's a person of color who now identifies as black, but she's whatever she needs to be to get to the next level. So, she was locking families up for truancy. Let's try locking her and some of her buddies up, including Trump. That's all wrestling tactics, pretending they hate each other. I worked at a wrestling gig, and I saw like the wrestlers practicing with one another. And it's just so friendly. It's like, oh, what if I come around, I do a choke bar on you, and then we grab like the cage. It's like, oh yeah, I like that. But then I want to do, and then like going like just kind of friendly, talking over like what they plan on doing in the cage match. And it's just like, it just seems like, oh my, they're so buddy buddy. But then like the cameras come on when it's showtime, it's just like, bitch, I cut your head open. I rip my leg around, do a little leg sash. And it's just like, yeah, it's all staged. They pretend to be enemies, but they agree on just about everything. Like, I'm pretty sure when Kamala and Trump go to the APAC lobby meetings and they get their scripts for what they got to say on camera, they're like very cordial. It's like, hey, Trump, how are you? Oh, Kamala or Kamala. I'm gonna call you Kamala. I know you get offended. I don't want to offend you. Oh, I'm not really offended. I just say that to make white people feel feel like they should vote for me. Shame them. Sorry, my Kamala is just I need to drink some water. But yeah, it's just like it's all optics. It's nothing. They're all on the same team. These people realize it. That's why you hear them coming together, wanting to do something about it. Like that's it. Organize to end genocide. We got to organize. We need movements. We don't need benevolent leaders. They give you that savior complex shit. That's why one of the professors at my school is always saying, um, white Jesus killed more people than all nuclear bombs combined. It's just like just the mentality that comes with that savior complex. The way we view history is like we need another Abraham Lincoln because he freed the slaves. We need another FDR because he gave us the weekend. That 40-hour work week. We wouldn't have got it without FDR. He can give us shit. We had movements to thank for that shit. We had unions. We were organized. All right. And it needs to be recognized because you're not going to vote for your savior. Whoever they tell you to vote for is someone you're going to have to fight against, even if it's someone who genuinely believes in what you want. Like you still need to have mechanisms to hold them accountable, because the CIA has mechanisms to hold them accountable to get what they want. Like they will stop at nothing. You see that? I mean, they got torturers that run that shit who should be locked up. That's why I say it's totally illegitimate. Anything they say is just like it's so much corruption. The corporations that run them, they need to be locked up. The government, I mean, it's at this point it's one and the same because they switch from corporate boards to government, corporate boards, government, regulatory bodies that are supposed to oversee the corporations. That's why it's just like everything is poison, everything is horrible. You need to shut it down. I don't know if you can hear that. You know, the firefighters or whatever that's coming out. Hopefully, they're not going to try to pull some foolishness. But yeah, get to it. I'm sorry, I'm ignoring the comments. I was just trying to explain the noise in the background. And just got into a lot of stuff, and me being excited to see Jill Stein in person. Yo, what up, Nate? What it do, Kev Cardi? Cardi Kev. And hi yourself, Betty Confetti. It's good to have you. Um, been trying to get on a regular schedule, but it's a lot going on, including me moving. So I'm like looking for a new place, working multiple jobs a day to save up for it. Then I had to get back to the other job. So, you know, glorious. Happy to be back. Just getting back to the nourishing intellectual stimulation that I've been without. I mean, I've engaged in, but um, like people who are passionate about doing stuff. I was talking to some of the students very much on the tip, like of needing an outlet for expressing their angst. Um, and that's why we're talking with the people who are organizing these events, the Gaza um, um, rally, trying to end the genocide. Shama Sawant, she was like the only council member to vote for condemning what was going on in Gaza. I was in the city hall with her, and no one would even second it the first time. Eventually they got so much pressure they had to do something, even though condemning it is like, I understand it's like, what is that doing? I guess it's making a statement that the overwhelming majority of the country is against what's going on in Gaza. But, my whole position is we want to do something about it. Where's the mechanisms to hold them accountable? So like Boeing profiting heavily off of what's going on in Gaza. They're lobbying to continue it because that's how our economy works. It's built on murder. You want to get a education in a house, go kill some brown people. That is like, that's like the selling point of the military. They got, when I was coming up, they had all this military recruitment at my school. And my dad even wanted me to get into that. He was like, it's some good money. All my siblings, they were in the military some way, shape, or form, different branches. All of the branches except for Space Force. But yeah, I was just like, nah. And my dad was like, it's easy. You get your education, you get your down payment for a house, and you it's not like a war is gonna break out. And then senior year, 9/11 happened. It's like, yeah, nah, I'm glad I did not sign up. It was they had all these different pipelines. We had a ROTC. Talking to a cat a few years later. He was in ROTC. I was asking him what he wanted to do because he was talking about basketball. I was like, what do you want to do when you grow up? Because he was like, I know I can't do basketball forever. And he was like, I want to join the Marines. I was like, why? Because I'm in ROTC, and it's just a natural progression. It's just like, so you're going to sign up to kill people because you like twirling guns at school festivals. I was like, that's just it's highly illogical on my end. But then if I would have been in that pipeline, that's probably how I would have been thinking too. And like I said, I got a bunch of siblings to look at to see how the mentality that is cultivated by this affects society. Well, affects the family more specifically, and it's just like it's not good. It is not good, that level of brainwashing, because either you have a moral injury that you can't recover from. That's why we got so many suicides, so much drug usage, homelessness. Um, Either you go that route, or you find legitimacy in one of the employment routes that allows you to utilize those skills that you got in the military, and then you get rewarded for heinous behavior, and you become a horrible person, and you don't even realize it, because the incentive structure that you work within is like, good job. Good job, you put more people in the hole. Like, you beat up that one guy, we'll protect you. It's a mindset that is just like, is worse than death, because it's just like a loss of soul. You don't realize the negative effects you're having on your community, and that you are the villain. Like, you think you're the good guy because your job is paying you so much money for doing bad things. Um, and it's a horrible thing. And right now I'm seeing them recruiting more young kids for going down that pathway. And it's like, I remember it be like heavy when I was a kid, the military recruits, right? Just standing out of school. Now I'm seeing it a lot more, right? And, when I was a kid, like I said, 9/11 happened eventually. It's like they were planning for that shit. And now the big talk is China. I was talking to someone who did what I used to do. I worked at a chemical plant. They worked at a different one. But it's all kinds of commingling with the chemical plants in the military, because our military steals oil and brings it to these chemical plants, so they got the dirt on the shit. And the chick I was talking to, who was working at the chemical plant, she was like, yeah, her boss told her that, yeah, we're going to war with China in 2025, and this was last year. I was like, I could believe that. They've been preparing us for war with China for a long time, starting with the coronavirus that our government funded. Then they moved off the country, out of the country, so they can blame another country. It's just like when they torture people in Guantanamo Bay, so they can be like, oh, look at all that torture going on in Cuba. Well, it's us torturing people. Um, yeah, so it's the same thing happened with coronavirus. Then it became the China virus, funded by us. Um, then we had like an uptick in hate crimes against Asian people. It's not like someone's like, hey, you Chinese or Japanese. It's like, just beat up Asian people. Just like 9/11. But 9/11 led to like a series of other skirmishes, murder, genocide, based on the hatred of uh, a certain phenotype of people. And yeah, and it's just like, I can see them preparing us for hating that phenotype with it when it comes to the Chinese people. And just like, they're already preparing. It was like a Chinese warship ran into a Filipino warship, And the Philippines, they're encouraged by America to do dumb shit, just like the Ukrainians. It's the governments that they corrupt. They get them to do their bidding. They get trained at like the School of the Americas or WINSEC or whatever it's called now. And yeah, they're just like some of the most atrocious motherfuckers. That's why, like people who out here like speaking out against war is very important. Because then you got like, if you got everybody who's against the war being quiet, we're just going to hear those very vocal genociders, the people who are just pro murder. You're a Fox News circa 2001 people. Just like, we got to kill them. Go in there and kill them before they kill us. It's broken logic. My man went with fire. Don't call me Fire Crotch, and you're 100% yourself. Whatever happened to Condoleezza Rice? One second. Condoleezza Rice. Sounds like some kind of a food dish. No, I butchered it. Now, Condoleezza Rice, doesn't she own like a sports team? Like the Broncos, I'm pretty sure. Which is just like another reason why I never watch sports run by criminals. You just look at the average sports team owned by a billionaire who doesn't pay for the sports team, the city does, but then all of the profits from everything sold, everything done goes to the person who owns it, even though they didn't pay for it. How does that make sense? It should be like owned publicly, since it's paid for publicly. If you have events there, all of the profits go to the people who own it, which is the city. I don't know. Sounds crazy, maybe, but it makes sense to me. But yeah, Condoleezza Rice, she stole all your money, killing millions of people. Then she bought the Broncos, or a portion of it. So, horrible person. Don't watch sports. Totally. Exactly. She slipped out after Bush. Now, Bush didn't slip out of Condoleezza. They got a light-skinned baby, a little mulatto war criminal. It's Kamala's goddaughter or godson or whatever. I don't know their pronouns, but I'm sure he didn't slip out. I mean, I don't know his pull-out game. He didn't pull out of Iraq quick enough. I mean, that went on for 20 years, killing millions of people senselessly. So maybe I shouldn't judge his pull-out game off of war crimes, but I don't have confidence in it. I hate sports. I hate most sports. I'm gonna tell you, like, I love curling. Curling is the ultimate rags to riches story, because we need to like celebrate curling to the nth degree. Like, fuck NFL, MLB. We need PCA, Professional Curling Authority. We need to have like the Super Bowl of curling, because it's just like, it is the perfect sport if we take it serious. I mean, it's interesting. When I was watching it, I was confused, didn't know what the brush people are for, but that technique, right? They just did brushing ice. For some people, it might seem silly, but I'm gonna tell you why it's the perfect rags to riches sport, because you could be working at a retail job, a fast food job, making nothing, right? But you get out there, like when it's time for you to sweep, you got that hustle, you got that technique, right? You got like a serious professional curling team. Then you got recruiters. Where do you think they're gonna be going to find a new talent? It's gonna be like, okay, watching someone, sweep and mop the bathroom at Burger King. It's just like, well, look at the technique. And then they go from that no paying nothing of a job to like a professional billion-dollar curling champion. And it just came because of hard work. Then it encourages, instead of like people like busting their body up trying to get paid in football, or destroying their knees getting paid in basketball. They'll just start cleaning the house a lot more. They just be like, let me just clean up, work on this technique, make that shit spotless. Everybody else gonna be happy, and I'm like gonna be a professional curling champion. So it's just like, you want to see a better society, celebrate curling, and free Palestine. The people, they have spoken. I was there, bro. It was a mess. Well, yeah, at the curling championship. What's new and what kind of stuff are you working on? Well, I've been doing some freelance stuff for the past few weeks, saving up. Got to move, so doing a lot of concerts and outdoor events. But now I'm getting back into the educational realm. But I'm also just racked with figuring out this move. I gotta find a new location, and it's a frustrating situation. Even when you got a little money saved, it's so stupid. It's like 30 different places you got to call. We need to have like a central place for housing. We need to confiscate all of these corporate owned houses, and no corporation should own a property, right? Then we take this pool of properties and we distribute it to the people in need. So all of the people who are chronically homeless, people who lost their homes so long ago, back in 2008 during the housing epidemic, then the corporation that ended up owning it through some shenanigans and illegal trickery and fuckery that was made legal and rewarded by Barack Obama when he bailed out the banks, and so the banks keep the homes and our money. The homeowners get their home back, and the bank criminals get jail time. Then they could be a part of Diddy's new entourage. We just throw them in a room with Diddy and give them a bunch of baby oil, and just what happens happens. I miss the employee evaluations. That's what Netflix.net is for. You got those. You got the old school ones, new school ones. That's Chappelle. You recognize the reference. I see that now. But yeah, Netflix.net will take you to my Rumble page for now. But I do have a bunch of older employee evaluations I did not upload. I'm gonna figure out I'm gonna put some kind of a package together, because some of that stuff is just like, I don't want to re-release it necessarily, because I hate the idea of it getting big, like me making fun of somebody for something they did like over a decade ago, and then they could have got their shit together. And they got like kids watching, and like, Mama, why was you twerking on a popsicle stick made out of butter? I don't know. Just some of the more ridiculous stuff. So, yeah. So I'm torn about re-releasing that stuff, but I'm gonna do something with it. Where to find old Nate's Vlogs videos? I'll pay. Shit. If you'll pay, I'll put them on Patreon. Yeah. Bro, me and my buddies enjoyed all your hot takes. They're really great. I appreciate it. It's good to have that acknowledgement. The hot takes are too hot for some. But, it's very rewarding to know that they've had impact on people. And not the things on Rumble or Odyssey. Not the things on Rumble or Odyssey. You know what? I do have some stuff, and it's crazy. I was going through. I was trying to find some really old video. It was like some content I did for a different network. Fuck Full Screen, but Full Screen owned it. Um, but yeah, the I was trying to find the video. Now I'm just like clicking. It's still a bunch of my videos on YouTube, even though my channel got shut down. Some people re-upload it. Some of it was um, me working with other networks outside, and collaborations with other YouTubers. But it was like the strangest shit. So much of my content was just like it was just blocked on all of YouTube. Like stuff that I did with other friends, it was just like blocked where you cannot get into it. And it was just like I just like, is it just this one page? And then I went to try other ones, other friends. I was just like, what is happening? Did I say anything controversial? No, not really. And it's just like I think it's an algorithm that's just targeting my face to wipe off of Google platforms. So it's just like it was. It's just like when my first channel got shut down. Not the first channel to get shut down, but my first channel, My Picks. Uh, I hadn't posted on that channel in 9 years. When I got shut down from like three other channels, and then randomly my Picks channel got taken down, even though I hadn't posted on there in 9 years. They just all of a sudden just targeted me because I think the Google algorithm recognized my face and it's just like terminate from the internet. He never existed. You know, just a theory for now, but I think there's some validity to that. You speak your mind, bro. That's a rare thing in this day and age. Keep being the light. Well, I'm a child of light. That's why they fund the dark. Pre full screen. That's crazy. Oh man, pre full screen. That's when the shit was lit. Full screen was a mechanism of control for the artists where they pretended to love everything about you. They say, oh, we love you, bro. We're going to get you some money. We just got changed to 50 things about you that make you who you are. So like we could accept you. That doesn't feel like love. Um, and then when you start pushing back, which I did, that becomes the problem. But it's necessary. The world is changed by the unreasonable man. Everybody else adapts to the system at play. They become well adjusted to injustice. So it's just like, yeah, and it's just, they got their mechanisms of control. And, when all else fails, they just banish you. But like I said, I see the ripples being made. It's a lot of people who came up with my content. They continue carrying the torch. Looking at one of the old interviews, it was an interview I did like a year or two ago, and it was some of it was covering on the shit that they're out there protesting about right now. But yeah, it's yeah, people are waking up to it. And I'm just, if I don't have to be the one who says it, I just know what I say has to be said. So I guess I'll let the next people carry the torch. I mean, damn, I better give my acknowledgement. But in a lot of ways, I'm just carrying the torch for other people who inspired me, so it's just like a lot of ideas. And it's just funny. The more I listen to Malcolm, the more I'm like, man, I thought of that first. Same with James Baldwin, uh, uh, Stokely Carmichael, H. Rap Brown. It's like I've been saying that, but now I just heard him say it a little more eloquently or succinctly. And it's just yeah, so it's just like, as long as it gets out there, we got to do something for free Palestine. It's getting super dark. I do want to go out and uh, uh just chop it up because a lot of the organizers I work with, Shama Suwant's Socialist Alternative and Worker Strike Back folks, they were the first people I had when I brought back SNCC to the school I'm at. So yeah, I wanted to catch up. The Matrix wanted you gone, but that's when you fight harder. Well, and that's what's up. And I got like, man, and it's crazy how I was pushed away from something, and then it gets thrown back into my lap going another course. But I got some um, news updates coming up. I figure out like some solids. I'm gonna confirm some shit, get it in written down in pen. But I got some dope news, especially when it comes to like posting content regularly, like edited content regularly. Um, yeah, it's gonna be new formats. But it's going to be regular edited content, not necessarily the live stuff, but I got some dope people who are going to be involved. So I'll as soon as I confirm some stuff, I'll let you know. Uh, are you okay, Golden Child? But yeah, it's been glorious. I'm about to get to this protest. Um, Remember, just if you only got two options, with the Republicrats, choose revolution, get involved. About to go do that myself, and see you guys. And anybody but a Republicrat this year, don't let them scare you into voting against your own best interest. And voting ain't shit anyway. You need to build movements. Hold whoever is in office accountable. We had it with Nixon. That's why he passed the EPA. But like they put tactics to play that, repealed everything and made the world what it is today. So we gotta, yeah, build these movements. And I'm gonna go join one right now. Toodles. What happened? All right.